It's the beginning of the spring term at Kings Langley School, a mixed comprehensive in Hertfordshire with 74 teaching staff.
Right, just a couple of things from me. A reminder that this evening we've got staff dialogue. Easter Revision School.
Gary Lewis has been head for nearly 5 years. He rescued the school from an underachieving Ofsted category and has overseen a huge improvement in academic standards. His staff are key to the continuing success of the school.
Recruiting excellent staff is perhaps one of my most important roles and tasks. I don't anticipate losing too many staff this year. Inevitably there will be those that move on, and 2 or 3 will be going for promotion, which is always nice. There are other staffing issues. We're very concerned about managing stress in our school. It's incumbent on me as a head teacher to ensure that everybody works in a reasonably contented environment, and getting the balance between pushing and shoving and yet supporting and loving is a difficult one.
Have a good day, everyone. Morning, girls.
Since arriving at Kings Langley, Gary has appointed a number of bright young teachers, knowing that they're likely to move on after 3 or 4 years.
Not quite sure what that is, if it's got a head or what, but it's okay, it's certainly unique. All right.
He's particularly concerned that Mike Windsor, an outstanding technology teacher, has reached this point. It's on Gary's mind at his first meeting of term with the Chair of Governors, Francis Stickley.
Now, I've got 1 or 2 teachers that have made appointments to see me. They're labelled personal, and personal usually is worrying because that means they want to move on. Yeah. There was one in particular who's coming to see me this afternoon in technology. He's been an outstanding success. I suspect he's looking to move for his first managerial responsibility. I could offer this chap quite a reasonable retention sum linked to some responsibility, and I'd like your okay to go ahead and do that.
I think we should. Good teachers, they're such a valuable asset.
Gary's walkabout at break takes him into the technology department.
Morning, folks. Everyone okay? Yeah. Having breakfast. New Year's resolutions, gentlemen. The New Year's resolution in the technology department is to eat yet more chocolate biscuits.
Cheers, guys.
Mr. Luffman. They're all yours, Michael, aren't they?
They are, yes. I've been at Kings Langley for 2.5 years, and it's been my first placement school, so I started here as an NQT, and I'm really pleased with, one, the progress I've made, but also how well I've been involved in the school. That's it, trimmed to the right size now. So you need a bench hook and a tenon saw. To be honest, I've always wanted to travel with my job, and the opportunities for teaching design technology abroad are quite minimal. So there's an opportunity came to teach in Holland recently.
I met with a young teacher this afternoon, and frankly, I offered him an inducement to stay. But I said, come and speak to me in the early part of next week, because what I'd like to do is actually dangle a sufficiently attractive carrot in front of him that he doesn't even bother applying for the job in the Netherlands.
Retention of good staff is crucially important to Gary, who is continually striving to improve standards. After school today, there's a staff dialogue, a regular informal get-together, which is part of Gary's focus on staff well-being. Today, they're discussing possible ways of easing the pressure on their working lives.
I mean, I remember there was one discussion about an ironing service.
Yes.
It seems like a ridiculous thing, but I'm just sat there thinking about how many hours a week do I iron shirts for? Laugh.
People have spoken, said either yoga, Pilates, something like that.
Really? You're shaking your head. I'm shaking my head because I have no idea what Pilates is. Those are guys that fly aeroplanes, aren't they?
No, it's not.
Whatever service the staff decide they'd like to see, Gary will offer financial support.
I can guarantee some form of subsidy because this is about staff well-being. This is about making our lives better and therefore, frankly, making us more effective in the classroom. So it's a win-win scenario for the governors and for me, frankly.
Something else that Gary funds is the annual Wellbeing Survey. Staff are asked to complete an online questionnaire covering all aspects of school life and relationships.
It's something that's really helped to boost the morale of the school. The working environment's improved. We've got new toilets for the staff. We've got a forum where we can speak to the head teacher now. It really has opened up communication.
A few weeks later, there's a result from the staff dialogue.
So we have hired a Pilates teacher. They're going to run a 10-week, 10-hour course. Fully qualified Pilates teacher coming in, and I'm quite sure everybody will enjoy it. It's what they wanted. We've supplied. I'm paying for it, rather. The school is paying for it. But I'm happy to do so.
But despite all Gary's efforts to retain staff, Mike Windsor has decided to take the job in Holland.
He wants to further his career. He sees the opportunities working in a very good school in Holland as an opportunity to broaden his experience. And I can't argue with that. It's something I would have wanted to do as a young man myself. So unfortunately, he's leaving at Easter, which is the worst possible time for us, because he will be leaving his examination classes literally in mid-run, just before they start their very vital revision programme. So that is very frustrating. I have no chance to replace him with a permanent teacher at that time.
3 weeks later, and the advertisements are out in the Times educational supplement.
Here we are, Friday the 26th of January. Unfortunately, a large number of adverts in. And I'm simply looking at a large amount of money spent here before we start. I mean, that's £3,000 worth of adverts in one go. It is really important that when a teacher looks at what is hundreds of adverts, that there must be something in the advert that stands out to attract them to the school. We go for a larger presentation, that's a box with the school badge, so we're able to put a little bit more information in. I'm looking here and seeing many schools that's really just close type in a typical newspaper column. Our experience is that doesn't tend to stand out.
The mornings are getting lighter. Gary arrives at school to interview candidates for Mike Windsor's job.
Unfortunately, already perhaps one of the favoured candidates has actually dropped out. We have 2 candidates to look at. It's always very difficult to make judgments based on the CVs and the letters of application, but both look sound. But I want somebody who's going to be equivalent to Mike. I may be setting my sights rather high, but without excellent staff, I don't think we're going to make the difference we want to.
Gary gives the candidates a short account of the school's history.
There was an Ofsted inspection in April 2000, and on that front cover it said, "This is an underachieving school." And bearing in mind what had been going on, that was the final nail in the coffin. So we relaunched in September 2002. And as I say, we haven't looked back since. Mr. Skills, would you like to come in? Here's Dean Skills. He's the head of department, the faculty leader. You're okay for this morning? You're going to take the gentleman across?
Sure thing, all organised.
Ready to go.
Dean shows the candidates round the design and technology department.
This started off as a finger joint. I see it's gone to a down joint. Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're trying a number of different ones. They're going to evaluate them, see what's most suitable.
As the headmaster says, there's a few rough edges still, but basically they've got some good equipment here, some really good facilities, and obviously some good investment within the school.
Then, in a carefully planned day, there's coffee in the staff room, followed by teaching a lesson, followed by the formal interview. And Gary makes his decision.
We weren't successful in appointing a technology teacher today. From fairly early on, there was little evidence that it would be right for either of the 2 candidates to join the school. So that is disappointing. It means that it's Thursday. On Monday, we will put another advertisement in the Times educational supplement. Yet another £800, of course, each time. It's extremely expensive, but I have no option. And we'll go from there. But time is against us. Time is against us. I was about to say ladies and gentlemen, but it's ladies, isn't it? Would you like to come along? Do come along, please.
The interview season continues with applicants for 2 posts, health and social care and food technology.
I know that you are going to enjoy the day. Now, what a bizarre thing to say when you're here on interview. But you will enjoy it, because we have set up the day so that you have ample opportunity to decide whether this is a school that you want to work at. It's very much a 2-way process. But we're looking to see, frankly, if you've got the sort of personality that's going to engage with the youngsters, and it's going to mean you're going to enjoy teaching at Kings Langley School.
He's so down to earth. He made you very comfortable. Now I can see the reason for planning a whole day of activities, because in the end you do feel relaxed, you feel like you've known the place, and you're better able to cope with the questions.
Rayness is offered the food technology post, but what about health and social care?
Sanal, how are you? All right?
Hello, okay,
It's been a long day for you, isn't it? Do take a seat. Well, I'm going to put you out of your misery absolutely straight away. You look even more nervous than you were at the beginning of the day. You know, it's absolutely my pleasure to offer you the position at this school. You've done absolutely brilliantly all day long.
With several other first-class appointments already in the bag, Gary's on a roll, apart from the appointment of a technology teacher. Right at the end of term, Gary interviews again. And this time the stakes are even higher because there's only one candidate.
Right, well, again, thank you very much for coming today. And I'm always very appreciative of the fact that, you know, you've made the effort to apply, write a very good letter of application.
Another introduction to the school.
We're still lagging slightly on our academic performance, but that's coming up rapidly. Technology, which is one of the most successful areas in the school, outstanding. I mean, in A-level results just going through the roof. We just had our technology resistant materials A-level AS results from January, and youngsters who are predicted Ds are getting As.
Really?
Oh yes. We take management of stress and other scenarios extremely seriously, and we do what we possibly can. I mean, for instance, we've booked Pilates classes for a Friday evening, so
really?
we pay for it as a school. And
I do Pilates.
yeah, right. Well, there you are.
Dean arrives to show the candidate around.
Have a really good day, okay?
Thanks very much.
Nice girl. Very nice.
The interview this morning with Mr. Lewis, the introduction, was really interesting. It's not something I've had at a school before, where they actually sort of sit you down and very honestly tell you about the history of the school. And it was really nice for him to just sell the school in a very honest way, warts and all, so to speak. I think if they offered me the job, I would probably say yes. It seems like a happy school.
It's the staff drinks at the end of term.
It's been a long, hard term, a very successful one. Looking at the youngsters going away today, the vast majority, and it is the vast majority, have had a great time, and that's down, as always, to your care and support.
And it's farewell to Mike Windsor.
Now listen, I'll just say it again. I mean, your work here has been absolutely phenomenal. You know that, and I hope you know, we've recognised that all the way through. And I reiterate what I said to you earlier on as well. If it doesn't work out in Holland, and I'm sure it will, because you'll be successful wherever you teach. But if it doesn't, ring us up straight away, because we'd give our right arm to have you back here, as you well know.
But has Gary found the right person to replace Mike?
Okay, Dean. Liz, well, only takes one good one, doesn't it? We've only got the one candidate today, but my first impressions of the young lady were very positive.
Yeah, she's been good all day. She's asked the right questions and given the right answers.
And I suppose looking at it positively as well, you know, being a female, resistant materials, a little bit. It's a good.
Issues.
I was going to say it's a good role model, isn't it, for the young girls, the young ladies who might be interested in doing it. Hiya, Liz.
Hiya.
Come and take a seat.
Thank you.
How are you? You all right?
Yes, good, thank you. Yeah.
Not quite so nervous now. Well, actually, you weren't ever very nervous, which is
No, not too bad, yeah.
Liz, I'm going to put you out of your misery straight away. It's my great pleasure to offer you the position of technology teacher. And
brilliant.
Welcome on board.
Thank you very much.
We're delighted to have you on board.
Excellent.